All right, boys. How is everyone doing? Today is the day, for better or for worse, we get to watch the Seattle Seahawks play football once again. Last time the Seahawks played was in January, so it's been at least a month since we've watched the Seahawks play football. Add 2 weeks to that since we've seen them lose. Today we get to watch them play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that'll be a pretty fun matchup, but doesn't matter if we win or lose, maybe a little bit, for my mental sanity. But there are some things that I believe are more important to watch throughout the preseason, and that's what I'm going to be going over today. First things first, let's just hope everyone stays healthy. Yesterday we had a pretty big scare about Zach Wilson with the Jets. Never want to see anything like that. We had Ben Burke-Irvin get hurt last preseason, I'm pretty sure. Bad injury. He was out the entire year. Don't want to see anything like that. But let's just hope that everyone stays healthy throughout this preseason, not just for our team, for every team. You don't want to see anybody get hurt in the preseason because, the preseason is to get ready for the regular season. Guys getting injured in the preseason and missing time in the regular season, never a good thing. So let's just hope everyone stays healthy. But now to move into one of the top things that we're going to be watching throughout the preseason, throughout the season, throughout literally everything we do this year is the Drew Lock, Geno Smith quarterback competition. Of course, everyone knows the quarterback competition is the main thing we're going to be looking at throughout this entire season. The preseason, probably the biggest chance for us to see who's got what. We got Geno Smith. He's played with us a couple years. He's a veteran. He's over 30, a little bit up there in age. And then we got Drew Lock, Horsecock Lock, future MVP, 2022 MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. He's going to win every award this year because we know Drew Lock, Horsecock Lock, about to go crazy. But we're going to be seeing them against a pretty solid defense, The Steelers, I don't know how many of their starters are going to be playing, but they had a really good defense these last few years. And even when they don't have their starters, when they have injuries, they always find a way. I mean, the Steelers are a very well-coached team. That's something that you can definitely give them. So even when their backups are going to be in the game throughout this preseason, I'd expect it to still be a pretty difficult task for the Seahawks, quarterbacks, offense in general, because the Steelers, they just find a way to be a good defensive team no matter what they do. So that'll be fun to watch because, Drew Lock and Geno Smith, they'll probably be playing some pretty similar competition. I'd assume it's going to be Geno Smith first quarter, Drew second and third, and then Jacob Eason in the fourth. Maybe we'll just see Geno and Drew in the first two quarters. Hopefully we see more of them than Jacob Eason because, God, I don't care about Jacob Eason at all. But I don't want to talk too much about this quarterback competition because I've talked at length in multiple videos about this. So Horsecock Lock versus Geno Smith. We'll see who shows out throughout the preseason. That's going to be the main thing we're watching. And arguably as important, if not more important, for the Seattle Seahawks' future, we got the corners. This is something I'm most excited for because, unfortunately, we've had Sidney Jones and Artie Burns get injured throughout this last week of training camp. But it's not like they're hurt for too long. They're probably going to miss this preseason game because you don't want to rush back from injury to play a preseason game. I mean, why would you do that? You're already a veteran. You got money. You have a solidified spot on the team. You're not trying to fight to stay on the team. Artie Burns and Sidney Jones, they're good. They're on the team. So they both don't play. And then we got Tariq Woolen and Coby Bryant starting out on either side at corner for the Seattle Seahawks. Mwah, that'd be amazing, right? That'd be fantastic. Chef's kiss because everyone wants to see him. Who doesn't want to see our two rookie corners going at it against a pretty solid wide receiver group? And our corners, the thing that intrigues me the most is to see how both of them do compared to each other because they're basically polar opposites. Woolen is what? Tall, long, fast, but he may be a little bit raw when it comes to coverage and, IQ and knowing how to play. But he's got the measurables, he's got the athleticism. Coby Bryant's kind of the opposite. He's a bit smaller, maybe not as fast. I believe he was in the 4.5s for his speed, which is still all right, but not the best for a corner. But he's got the coverage down. For what he lacks in size and speed, he's got an IQ and coverage ability. So they're basically polar opposites that we're going to be watching out there. And there are some solid guys for the Steelers that we're going to be watching. George Pickens, I assume we'll see a decent amount of him. Their rookie this year, who is an absolute menace, apparently. He has just been supposedly just killing everybody in training camp. We're actually going to watch a little bit of George Pickens. There's about a minute of highlights from training camp here. We're not going to watch all of it, but we'll watch enough to kind of see what he's about real quick. All right, so right here we got probably the most pixelated video I've ever seen in my life, but this is something that I believe will be fun to watch. We got George Pickens over here, as you can see. You can tell that's definitely him. Just hurdles a man. I don't know. You know, in training camp, that man's hurdling. Why is he looking back at him like that? Like, that is your teammate. I mean, George Pickens is a funny guy. You know, you see all the clips of him in college as being a menace, and I feel like that's going to translate over to the NFL. And now moving on over to some more, actual clips. We got some throws. George Pickens right here makes a pretty solid catch. Let's just take a look at this. Some decent coverage, but George Pickens, gets his hands out there, turns around, goes upfield. Nice play by him. Let's see this catch right here. Pretty solid. I mean, he gets up there. He just goes towards the ball. That's probably a touchdown. Yeah. And, not bad. Let's see one more. We got a deep ball to George Pickens, one-on-one coverage. Kind of not the greatest coverage. You're not trying to get hurt, so I bet they're not playing, like, full. But that's, just some solid showings from George Pickens here. And that's going to be one of the guys that we're going to be going against. We might see Deontay Johnson, maybe a little bit of Chase Claypool. Who knows? But if nothing else, we'll probably see George Pickens, and that'll be a fun guy to watch, just being an absolute menace. And now with probably the two biggest things out of the way for this entire preseason, the quarterback competition and the rookie corners getting some opportunities, let's look at some of the smaller things that are also going to be interesting to watch this game and probably throughout the rest of the preseason as well. First things first, we got the right tackle spot. There's definitely a battle for the right tackle spot going on. I mean, left tackle, we're going to be having Charles Cross. We got, Gabe Jackson, left guard. Center's going to be Austin Blythe. Maybe Phil Haynes could fight for that center spot. We got Damian Lewis at the right guard. Right and left guard we can kind of interchange. But right tackle, we got Jake Herhan, Stone Forsyth, Abraham Lucas. There's at least three guys that could play there. Maybe Phil Haynes fights for a spot there. Who knows? I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys that are going to be fighting for that one right tackle spot. That'll be an interesting thing to watch. It'll be interesting to watch our offensive line as a whole, see how they do, because offensive line has been a pretty big issue for us for years, but I do have high hopes for this one. Also, we get a couple more of our rookies that we get to watch. Maybe we won't see too much of them, depending on, how the rotations are going to go, but we got Boye Mafe. We got him, the pass rush, see how he's going to be able to do. We got Kenneth Walker. That'll be interesting to watch. I don't want to see us use him too much. I feel like we already know he's going to be solid. We don't want to risk him getting hurt or anything like that. We got Bo Melton. I think that'll be someone interesting to watch because I believe Dwayne Eskridge is out going into this game. Dwayne Eskridge is out, Marquise Goodwin's out, and Freddie Swain are all going to be out for this game, most likely. So that would lead Bo Melton to get a pretty big shot because I'd assume he would be like one of the top guys to fill in since he is the youngest, and he seems to be doing all right throughout camp. Pretty athletic, pretty fast. That'd be a fun guy to watch, once it gets to the boring parts in like the fourth quarter. But we also have an interesting thing going on at safety. Jamal Adams broke his finger. He's going to be having a little club on his hand, or I think he's just going to have a cast throughout the season, but he's got a club right now through preseason and training camp. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to be playing that actual second safety spot because Jamal Adams is going to be playing in the box most of the time, I'd assume, which that'll lead to some interesting opportunities for some of the guys on this team to get a chance, that they normally wouldn't. Marquise Blair, maybe he gets to move back to safety. We saw him running at a nickel corner last year a little bit, but he's dealt with injuries throughout his entire career. Maybe he'll get a chance to play safety. I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the length. I mean, he's a solid guy. I'd like to see him get a shot. Sleeper pick, Bubba Bolden, someone that people thought would go in, round 5 in the draft, went undrafted, and we picked him up. That could be an interesting guy to watch. Josh Jones, probably the most likely guy that we'll see at that spot throughout the day. But there are guys that could be fighting for a spot that normally wouldn't be available if it weren't for Jamal Adams breaking his finger. So that'll be another interesting spot to watch. Wide receiver will be interesting, seeing maybe Bo Melton. Also, Tariq Young. I think that's who else we drafted this year. Safety will be interesting to watch because that's not normally a position that we'd have to worry about, but Jamal Adams probably playing in the box more. We're going to have to get somebody in that second safety spot alongside Quandre Diggs. Right tackle, important to see who wins that. Pass rush, we get to see Boye Mafe. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Darrell Taylor. We don't want him to get hurt, but hopefully we see him, put on a bit of a show. And then what? We got Kenneth Walker, Rashad Penny. Hopefully we don't see too much of them. We already kind of know what we're going to get from them. And Rashad Penny, I mean, he's dealt with injuries throughout his whole career. Hopefully he stays healthy. Keep him off the field, But yeah, and then other than that, it's really just the quarterback competition and the corners. Those are the top two things to watch. And I'm really excited because, Drew Lock will probably get a decent amount of opportunities. The corners are going to be super fun to watch because I'd assume our young guys are going to be playing pretty deep throughout the game. I don't know. I'm excited for this. Can't wait to watch the game. Even, Kenny Pickett. The guy drafted at number 20 when every other quarterback in the entire draft was taken like after 70. That'll be interesting to watch him. I mean, we've seen some flashes from Desmond Ridder and Malik Willis for, the teams that drafted them that weren't us. I don't know. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see football once again. Surprisingly enough, I'm more excited to watch our corners play than to watch the quarterbacks because I already kind of have it ingrained in my mind that I want Drew Lock to win the quarterback competition, so I don't really care, how Geno does. But I'm really interested to watch the corners, Coby Bryant, Tariq Woolen. I hope both of these guys do absolutely fantastic and become the future of the Seattle Seahawks because I like Coby Bryant's name. I like how he plays. He's like he's kind of like what we had in DJ Reed last year, but a little bit slower. I'd assume we'll see him out there. But and then Tariq Woolen. I mean, my God, he looks absolutely insane with his speed and size. So I'm really the main thing I'm going to be watching is the corners. Because I already kind of have it ingrained in my mind that Drew Lock is gonna he's already won my heart, But let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Can't wait to watch Seahawks play football again. Even if we lose, I'm happy. But that's gonna do it for this video. Like I said, let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.